So if you want to receive a one-time payment of $285, you're going to have to take action very soon. The IRS actually released a very important announcement for all Social Security beneficiaries about monthly benefits. So be sure to watch until the end of this video for the latest fourth stimulus check, Social Security, SSI, and SSDI information. And the deadline for millions of people in Maine to claim a one-time $285 stimulus check is this week. Many workers in the state of Maine are eligible for the check as part of the state's disaster relief program. The relief program is designed to help struggling taxpayers offset financial difficulties caused by the crisis, and Americans that want to claim the cash must have done so by this week. To be eligible, applicants must have filed a Maine individual tax return as a full-time resident for the 2020 tax year by October 31st, 2021, and single filers must have an AGI of $75,000, while the threshold is $150,000 for couples. And as of right now, friends, according to state officials, Americans that received business income are ineligible for the cash boost. Maine's Department of Administrative and Financial Services has announced that this week that hundreds of thousands of checks will be issued, but some eligible recipients may not receive their payments due to the payment being stolen, lost, etc. So if you did not receive your payment this week, you can contact the Maine Revenue Services. The good news is that the IRS may not be the only payment heading to residents this year. The governor of Maine has indicated that she wants to send an additional $850 check to Americans. Mills said that the average person will spend an extra $560 this year because of inflation compared to 2021. And the Maine legislature still has some to approve. Governor Janet Mills proposed $850 relief payments, but if they do, the state says the first checks could be sent out beginning this summer. And there's a push to try to speed up that even more by sending the money electronically rather than by paper checks. The proposal by Mills is to give back part of the state's budget surplus to taxpayers in the form of $850 direct payments. The proposal has already gotten support from both Democrats and Republicans, but some in the legislature want to see the money get into people's pockets faster. Now friends, this year in particular, it's more important than ever to pay special attention to how you file your taxes. As a result of last year's stimulus bills, you could be entitled to credits and rebates that you don't usually qualify for. These special credits are available to you even if you receive SSI, or do not make enough money to file a tax return, or simply don't have one. Now here are the two big credits that you need to watch out for if you receive SSI or Social Security benefits. As part of the stimulus relief bill, the child tax credit was expanded to $3,600 per child under the age of 6 and $3,000 per child ages 6 to 17. If you did not claim this credit last year, don't worry. You can claim it now, although it might be called a rebate credit depending on what you claimed last year. Your child tax credit payments will not affect your Social Security benefits if you receive SSI. Any child tax credit you receive, including advance payments received in 2021, are not going to count as income or resources for 12 months after you receive it when considering income eligibility for SSI. This suggests that the SSA wants to see that you needed the money and are not simply holding it in a bank account. And the Earned Income Tax Credit provides low to moderate income workers and families certain program-specific tax breaks that you can use the credit to reduce the tax you owe to the IRS, which could in turn increase your overall tax refund. Folks, what do you think about President Biden and his work on the fourth stimulus check? Is he doing all that it takes to help out the American people with stimulus payments, folks? Tell me what you think about this in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts.
And Lewis, and I thank you, Madam Chair, for convening this timely hearing. Electrifying the Postal Service fleet is an urgent priority for environmental justice communities, including those in St. Louis. We have a unique opportunity to reduce tailpipe emissions and decrease cumulative pollution burdens that disproportionately harm Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities on the front lines of the climate crisis. The Postal Service's current procurement plan to continue buying gasoline vehicles is in direct conflict with the agency's policy to, quote, emphasize environmental issues and alternatives and protect, restore, and enhance the quality of the human environment, end quote. It is also not in line with the policy to, quote, use the NEPA process to assess reasonable environmental alternatives to propose actions in order to avoid or minimize adverse effects, end quote. I am extremely troubled by the next generation delivery vehicle proposed plan, which doubles down on decades of pollution Ms. Stevens, is it correct that the Postal Service refused to explore specific environmental justice mitigation options in an expanded environmental impact statement?
I would say that the environmental impact statement supplement that was requested was not justified. Part of that process demands the introduction of new information that was not considered as part of the formal draft or final environmental impact assessment process. There were no substantive issues brought forward through that process that had not previously been addressed, considered, introduced, or addressed in the Postal Service's final environmental impact statement. It just didn't rise to the level that is required to consider a supplemental EIS.
Okay, so the fact that I was supposed to Postal Service's response to the EPA comments in the NGDV final environmental impact statement. Okay, the environmental racism on display from Postal Service leadership, it is absolutely alarming. We have heard of no interest in outside experiences and expertise that do not support management's preference. In fact, Postal Service management...
Now, there are many new relief checks that will be going out this year. According to Congress's new announcement, Social Security beneficiaries could also see an extra boosted monthly benefit increase very soon. Millions of senior citizens may be eligible to receive a $1,400 stimulus payment from the federal government right now. And everybody, millions of senior citizens have been hit hard by inflation, which is at the highest in 30 years. It's eating into fixed incomes and creating hardship for many people. Now, the situation has prompted calls for top Democratic lawmakers and advocacy groups for a remedy in the form of a one-time $1,400 stimulus check for anyone on Social Security benefits.
Months, devastating tornadoes have taken lives across the country. These deadly outbreaks have shown that even when tornadoes are well forecasted, lead times and warnings do not always ensure that the public can adequately respond or that appropriate shelter is available. This very day, Madam Chair, the National Weather Service has predicted severe storms for my state of Mississippi, including tornadoes. This highlights the importance of marking up this legislation now. The Tornado Act would require that NOAA work to improve hazardous weather communications and forecasting to help prevent the loss of life and property in future storms. Today's agenda also includes important legislation to address ongoing supply chain issues. 2 years into the pandemic, Americans continue to feel the impacts of these disruptions on our economy. To help address these issues, I introduced the Freight Act, along with Senators Capito, Moran, Young, Blackburn, Thune, and Sullivan, and I'm pleased to see it on today's markup. The Freight Act would improve our freight transportation system by streamlining the licensing.
So Nancy Pelosi